Hi. Hello. How you doing? No, mejor así. Sounds better like this. Hello. Welcome to my live. My name is Alex. This is a channel about guitars and sounds for concentration and sleeping and anything related to music. So, been doing these lives lately, just get in the habit of putting content out there, motivating myself to set up the equipment. Sometimes I get too lazy, which I guess happens to some of you too. The microphone is on. I'm checking on the microphone. So, I hope you can hear me right. Um, yeah. Today, I wanted to, of course, find a justification to just like put myself out there, play some guitar for you. Either the people are watching me online right now, which I best not a lot of you, bet. I can't see the screen because I got the phone tilted the other way. Trying to use the best camera, you know. Perhaps next time I'll put it the other way. But also, I wanted to talk about some stuff. I don't know who is listening to this content. I see some people hear it later. Sometimes it's people that don't play any instruments. So some of the themes that I touch might be important to some people. To some others, it might be, you know, slightly associated with some stuff that's happening in your life. In this case, I want to talk about something that flies off the radar to some guitarists, because for sure it's happened to people that I know, and it's about getting to know what you're doing, and what by that I mean music, and to be more specific, I mean in guitar some I don't want to say notation, but theory, you know, some theory. And how that applies to your life if you're not a musician. Well, sometimes in life, even if you know your craft and you know how to do something, it's good to know the history behind it. Or, you know, you probably know its applications of the craft that you know how to do, but you don't know some of the history of some of the what other groups have made from it. Now, for guitarists, I will say start up. I mean, some of you play, some of you are great guitarists and play really well, but at least learn how to the structures of the music that you're doing. And today, as an example, I'm gonna give how to construct a chord. You know, just chords are this. We call them acordes in Spanish. You know, right? Okay, so some of you, the approach that you get a guitar is that you find the positions and how to put them on the guitar, and you just learn them in the neck, and you play them, and that's great. That's not a bad way of learning guitar. But some of you don't know how those chords, what notes are in those chords, and I assure you, in the future, the very near future, it will help you to know all of this, to know what songs compose the chord of C major, right? I mean, what songs, what notes, because when you're improvising, you want to improvise over those notes, right? For example, let's start with the simplest one, C major. Okay, you're playing 5 notes here. You can even alternate with an E, a low E there, like. But okay, so usually the chords, the simplest way of building chords is by triads. It's by 3 notes per chord, right? So to call it a major chord, a minor chord, is 3 notes. Now, why is there 5 in here? And the answer to that is that it's notes that are being repeated in different octaves. For example, you got the C note. This is C, right? So you got A, B, C, right? C. You got I said you needed C. Well, I haven't said it. So for the C major, you need C, E, and G. So the third note, what we call the third, which is, it's like C, D, E. I'll explain that later. What we call the third on that chord is the E. So that's why you play this note over here, because this note is E. You get D, E, right? So C, D. Now, as you may know, this note right here is the note of G. So right now, the chord of C major is C, E, G. So right now, you got the whole chord right here. You don't need to press anything else to make it a C major. It's right here. Now, how about this one? We're repeating the C note. That's C. So B, C, right? And this one at the end is repeating E. So, right? Now, you don't have to repeat them in the same order or in order at all to make it a chord. It could be a different order. So right now, you could put this one and you can add this note here, which is G, and that's still C major. You don't have to call it C7, C whatever, C13. This is C major. This is C, E, G. C, E, G, C, G. So you're still in the same chord. It just has a different sound, a different color. So you're even in the same position. So, and that's what I wanted to circle back to my original note. And it's like, it's called so different chords that has, I mean, same chord that has different sounds. And that's an example of one right here. Right? This has a different sound. This one over here, when you do a bar chord over here, and you do it like this, this note is this, but it sounds different, right? Because it's C, G, E, E. This is D, E, and G, right? So it has a different sound. I even do it like this. You see, but it does a lot of stress here, so I only do it like that when I don't want to press this note. Okay, so that's another one. Then the chord that I was talking about the other day, like G major. Some people do it like this. And you can do it like this. So you can have the mobility depending on where you're going after that. So if you're here or here, which is the same, you can also play it like this. So instead of adding this note, you do this one. So you're eliminating a B, but putting a D in there. And you got G, B, D, G, D. You can add the G too, right here. And it's still G major. So it's like G major, G major, G major, G major. This one here is a bar chord, G major. So it's the same chord with different sounds. Okay. This one here, let's go back to C major. But let's put the G here, this note. We're still in C major. Now we're entering what it's called inversions. So instead of starting the chord with the first step, with the first note, which is C, you will start the chord in a different note, which it could be E or it could be G. In this case, it's G. That's how we call the second inversion, right? First inversion, we'll be starting with an E. Let's say we're starting with this note. Yeah. So that's C in first inversion. That's C in second inversion. And that's just C regular. Okay. That will be G in its second inversion because it started with the fifth. It's what we call the fifth note. I'll explain that later. Because it's like, so it's G, G, B, D. So, and we're starting on a D. So that's G on its second inversion. Right? And it's still G major. So it's the same chord, different sounds. Same chord, different sounds. You will see it if you look at notation, music notation. Usually they write the guitar part as just a chord because they just want you to strum over it. And in notation, you'll see it as a G chord. It could be this. It could be this. It could be this. Whatever goes well with the song. Okay. It could be this. That's still G major, right? Doesn't sound that good over here. Kind of way too high, but it's still G major. Now, when you move away from the triad, the first triad, which is like, let's say, in C major, will be C, E, G. You move away from that. Now you're going into the add these, the nines, the sevens, and all that. So, for example, let's say I play this chord, and this is my third. This is my third. So that's C, E, G. And I remove this finger from here and I let this one ring. And this is a D. D is not part of the C major chord. That means it's what we call either a C2, or I don't know how it's. I train classically. So this will be like a added 9, I think they call it. Added 9 or a C added 2. The 2 and the 9 are the same. It's the same note. So, because you're adding a D, it doesn't sound like you're adding something higher pitch, but you're just expanding the harmony. You can do this instead and add this one. And this is a C added 9. It's the same chord as this one. Remember what I said, same chord, different sound, right? Different voicing, different color. You see? Because this is a D and this is a D, okay? Now, if you want to do kind of like a jazz C chord, in the case of C, you will do C major 7, for example. Because you're removing this C, you already have C over here. You're removing this one here, letting this one ring, or even like this. It depends on where you want to accentuate, either in the E or in B. And that's C major 7. That's how easy you can make chords. And by all means, this is not a guide on how to just build chords. This is to start a conversation so you can go out there and know what to look for when you're like trying to learn a little bit more about music theory and chord constructions in the guitar. It's very important that you get to know the neck of the guitar. Okay, and that's all for tonight. I mean, have a good night. Enjoy your day. Sign up, subscribe, leave a message over there, leave a like, check out my other videos, and have a good night. Thank you. Bye.